Okay, so we're here in Portugal. We've just been doing the Simmer Style flat water shoot, and I thought I would just steal this bloke next to me to ask him about a new project going on at Simmer Style. Mr. Marc Pare, second in the world, fourth in the world last year, coming back from injury, back on Simmer. Obviously, it's been a while now. How many years are you on Simmer? Back on the team?
No, it's like
a family.
Yeah, 1 year and a half.
So 1 year and a half. So yeah, so not long, but you've been a busy boy.
Yes.
I know he's been a busy boy because obviously I'm sponsored by Simmer Style as well, but this guy knows all the stuff that is going on. You have basically got yourself up to here in Simmer. Like every time I speak to you, you're in Sweden, which is, you know, a lot of the offices and main guys are up in Sweden. You've been doing travel trips, you're doing testing here, testing there. What's going on? Do you own any of the company? I have heard someone say that. Oh, he's bought into the company. What's the deal? Or you?
No. I mean, I guess it's just rumors, but no, you know. But I have a little bit more of an R&D role, sorry, in the company, and yeah, I'm a bit more involved in the company itself, also helping Pete also with marketing stuff when I'm in Sweden, and you know, doing as well. Yeah, like office work actually.
Yeah.
So you know, it feels different, but it's cool also. So yeah, it's I thought after being back on Simmer, I would be like a little bit more settled, a bit more like in Europe and home. But actually, it's been the opposite. You know, I've been traveling more, being more in Sweden. So you know, so it's a lot more busy stuff at the moment, and yeah, and I guess it's not gonna slow down. So. But yeah, pretty cool.
But it is a cool story. I mean, maybe some people heard this before, but obviously you started on Simmer Style back when you were...
I think it was like 12, 13, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then you kind of had that Simmer Style journey. Then we left, you went to Duotone, and then obviously back in Simmer Style. And like I said, he is fully involved now. And R&D, I would say that seems like that's where the passion is. Like, is that like... because you're enjoying the design, or you want to be involved because that helps you perform better because you know how it's all going? What's the thinking there? How has that kind of evolved? I mean, you've always been into it.
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
interested to see where it's coming from.
Yeah, I think it comes from the past actually. Like I grew up doing a lot of slalom racing, and that of course meant that I had to test a lot of gear, you know, to be able to go faster and you know be up there, you know, when I was competing in the juniors, and I did a little bit of PWA stuff also. So yeah, I think this is what made me love the development and like the testing part of it, you know. And you know, I know a lot of people don't like doing the the testing, you know, because they hate having to go in and out of the water, changing this, changing that, trying this, trying that. But I really enjoy it, you know, and it's nice when you feel like you're moving forward and you're getting something nicer and you're refining something to the max. So it's pretty cool. I really enjoy it, and of course, you know, part of it comes from me wanting certain stuff to compete, and so whatever. But yeah, also, you know, it's like now that I'm involved within the brand, you know, I want to make the best shit possible. You know, I want to have the best gear, and you know, people to be able to enjoy the gear, you know, that I want to design. So you know, of course, together with Thomas and Ola, you know, it's not only my work, but you know, there's a lot of team effort behind all of that, and I think it's really cool. And like right now, it feels like we're starting to really get to some really cool places,
which I like, because I get to get all the fruits of the labor, you know, because I'm not as involved with the R&D. Yes, I do some testing, I'm giving feedback, but this guy is in the meat and beans of it. And like you said, there is definitely two types of rider. There's the rider that doesn't want to think about the gear. They just turn up, they get given the gear, they switch in and they try and get used to it, which is fine if you like the gear. You know what I mean? If you're just like easy pleased, but I know you've got certain things that you like. And then like you said, the reward coming back from when you do something that the public like. I think you got a taste of that with the Flywave.
Yeah.
You know, because the Flywave, you were definitely involved with that, with Ola, obviously, you know, other people involved, but I would say that was kind of your first little baby. And the feedback, I mean, my feedback to you as well.
Yeah.
But that board went down an absolute storm, and it still is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a great board.
It is. It's been a super popular board, and everyone that's been on it loves it. And you know, been actually letting it try to some people
Yeah.
now, and you know, and it was like the previous version, and they still, you know, are in love with it, and you know, even people riding for other brands. So
Yeah.
I think it says a lot.
Well, we will go into the boards at some point at a later date, but we don't have them all here for now. But we got to talk about this sale because people, I don't know when you guys are going to see this interview, because maybe it doesn't come out until the sale's released. I'm not sure, but you would have definitely seen it on the water. Simmer Style and you have not been sort of shy about letting the graphics and people see it. Is this the final graphics? Because this is what I want to know, because I don't know.
It is not actually. This
is not?
No, this one.
I like this one. I'm going to be honest, I like it. And I
Well,
like the one before it.
Exactly. So that's a little bit the thing here, you know. This won't be the final graphic, but you know that there is a chance that we can add an extra color to this sail, you know, in the near future, you know, because.
So what is it? Let's know, because obviously Simmer Style famously have the black tip. It's been in the range for a long time now. That is the main wave sail. Obviously we've got the Evoque now, which hits a little bit of a different market. Which is also a great sail. It's what I use, but the black tip has been that sort of PWA top riders, they use the black tip. That's your sail, but this is a black tip with a difference.
It is. So yeah, basically it all started, this project started when I moved back to Simmer, like beginning of last year.
Okay.
So yeah, we started talking about it, and then we started designing the first prototypes during my injury in April. So basically the aim was kind of to use more premium materials. In this case we used the carbon scrim, and this allowed us to like completely redesign the whole sail basically, you know. We managed to remove reinforcements and replace them with better ones, you know. So all in all we have like now a completely different sail that is super high performing, and it's incredible.
I've got to ask you, because I'm just butting in, sorry, excuse me, but so why? What's so special about the carbon stuff? What is it? What properties does that have that, let's say, monofilm or Q-ply or whatever the other stuff is?
So basically, because of the stretch resistance in the direction of the carbon warp, then you can actually remove like the stretch controls, for example, that we have.
Okay.
So basically, we have a sail that over time stretches less, you know, in that direction. So that's why we are actually placing the carbon in different ways. You know, we've been testing a lot different warp directions and everything. So that's the reason why we have it in different directions.
Okay.
So we control the stretch of the sail a lot more, and on top of that we have a more reactive sail.
Okay. How many, because I know there's a few, how many sails have you made with carbon? Because you've been on this project a while.
Yeah.
And I guess because it's a different material, it does take time to understand exactly what each bit does, and you have to make the sail every time and testing it.
Exactly.
Are you testing every size? Are you scaling up, scaling down? How many sails? Give us a bit of a...
Yeah, so basically the way we worked on this sail was we started with the key sizes, so let's say 4.7, 4.2, 5.3 per se, but 4.7 being the main one.
Yeah.
And then from there, like we made a few prototypes, and then we worked and we learned stuff, and you know, and then we made like the in-between sizes, you know, with that. But you know, of the 4.7, I think we did like 6 or 7 prototypes already.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, I think if you add them up to all of them together, you know, it's been quite a few sails that have gone into this project already.
So let's say someone's got a black tip right now. They're happy. What's this giving them? Why should they get this one? Because I'm guessing it's got premium material, it's got carbon in it. It's not going to be cheap.
No.
It's not for the, you know, it's probably, it's going to be how much? Do we know how much more? I did hear a rumor.
Yeah, I think the 4.7 was around 930 euro, but I'm not completely sure.
Did I like 30% more? Did I?
Around 30% more.
I think I did hear that the other day. The one thing I did hear,
Yeah.
because I was kind of keen, because everyone was asking me, so I thought I'd try and find out. Again, final price has not been done. They may have already been done by the time you watch this video. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So it is more money.
Yes.
What are you getting? What's different?
What are you getting? Well, it's actually really special, you know. So because of the material, as I said, we redesigned the whole thing, And now we basically have a sail that has a much bigger wind range. Sorry,
Okay.
you know, so we gain a lot more of that upper end. You know, on the 2025 black tip, we gain a lot of low end, and now we gain a lot of upper end. What's interesting with this sail?
And kept the lower end.
Yes, but it's interesting
Okay.
because it's like you go on it and it feels so smooth, easy and light that it feels like there's no power, but it actually moves, you know, so it's more like the efficiency. But then as soon as you get powered up, you know, you can hold it for a long time. So
Okay.
yeah, we actually didn't think about it, but discussing with some shops and customers, they had a good point, you know, like maybe you do spend a bit more money on these sails, but maybe you can have one sail less in your range.
Okay.
You know, just because you have more range of use now.
Okay.
So
Are you re-rigging it to get those wind ranges out of it? Are you staying with kind of? Is it small adjustments?
I mean, you can keep it pretty much the same, but yeah, I mean, you can definitely adjust it a lot more. You know, which when we change the laugh curve on these ones, it's the first thing, you know, that I told Tom. I was like, wow, it just feels like now I can play around with the outhole. Like we gained all this range, you know, so I'm powered up. I can, you know, just put a little bit more outhole, and it just feels like the whole sail is just sitting down a bit more. And yeah, overall, I would say it's just how easy it is to use, you know. Like for example, we were testing with Morris these latest samples, and he was like, oh, like you bastard, he was like, now you just created a need on me that I didn't know I had, you know. So now he wants like a full range of these sails, you know. And it's just, you know, like might be maybe coincidence or not, but you know, it's like it just felt like every time we were on these ones, you know, compared to normal ones, you just have more percentage of makes in the moves, for example. And I think this is due to just the sail feeling easier, you know. You are just more comfortable, so you don't need to fight anything, you know. So it's just overall easier to sell, you know. And I think that's why I think it's a really cool product, and it's something that I've been telling Thomas and like kind of fighting for already since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like we can make a sail that suits my needs, but that also feels easy to sell, you know, for a normal customer and the average seller, you know. So, and I think we really achieved something really cool with this sail.
I'll be honest, I've had one go on it, which was a bad day here in Portugal, but it felt pretty sweet, I've got to be honest. I'm looking forward to getting a proper range test. I didn't rig the sail though, someone else rigged it, so tell me about rigging. How easy is it to rig? Because I've had sails before a fair few years ago now, and they were great, like amazing, but if you didn't get it spot on, it wasn't as good. It was all right, but it wasn't as good. There was always a real sweet spot. Is it a sweet spot in the rigging this? Have you got a bit of range? You know, what's the...
Well, you know, of course, there's like always this trim that will work better than another one.
Okay.
But I would say you can rig it like in many different ways and it will still work as good, you know. So like, for example, the other day when you sailed it, I could see that you had a bit too much downhole.
That's what they told me.
But for how I would use it, and a bit too much outhole.
Yeah.
But you know, it still worked perfectly, and it you know, and you still liked it a lot, you know. So I think you can rig it in many different ways, you know. And
I'm guessing, is it lighter?
It is.
It definitely felt light in the hands, but
yes.
you know, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this before, you know, there's a lot of tests now where they actually weigh the sail, which is, for me, that's not the test for me. I know it's one aspect, but for me, it's the swing weight, the weight it feels in the hands. But I know there's a lot of people asking, is it physically lighter?
I think it is a little bit lighter. I actually haven't weighted them.
Okay.
You know, but it should be kind of close. You know, it won't make a difference.
No.
But as you say, it will make a difference sailing. And the previous versions, they were definitely lighter. But we want to keep the philosophy of Simmer, you know, which is to have a durable sail, you know. So actually, we've been, as I said, replacing reinforcements, you know, but also adding little ones and with different constructions. So for example, you know, I know and I saw people, for example, on Chile, you know, breaking the sail. So okay, so I was like, let's use the carbon material on top of the X-ply foot, because we actually liked a lot the X-ply for the foot panel.
Yeah.
You know, but it was like, how can we you know, change the reinforcements and reduce a little bit of weight here in
Yeah.
the tack, but then at the same time make it something useful. Okay, so we use the carbon material and we glued it on, so like in different directions. And this is like the latest version that I kind of came up with, you know, to frame the foot of the sail all the way until the bottom. So it creates that extra strength, you know, and also low distribution. So over time will be less flattery here, because you will have the control in that way, and also it will be stronger. And what we did also is we alternated, if that's how you call it, the patches. So for example, on this side of the sail we have these three, and then on the other side there's another one going that way.
Okay.
So this way we don't need to use as many, you know, we don't need to use both sides, so it looks cleaner, but also we save a little bit of weight while keeping it and making it stronger, basically.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I am definitely excited to try some. Am I going to be allowed on it?
Yes.
I hope so. Are we going to see? Well, that's my next question. I haven't even asked this question. Some of these questions I haven't even asked. But the Evoke, are we going to see a carbon Evoke at some point? Is that in the pipeline? Are we?
Well, actually, I would like to, you know, because we've learned a lot with these sails, and we see like a lot of improvements by using this material, and I think we could probably benefit from having an Evoke like that, you know. But again, it's not a project that we've started, but you know, maybe, who knows, we could see it in the future.
It's definitely going to be interesting. And I want you guys at home, you know, there's going to be some simmer fans out there. And there's going to be other people that go, well, I'm really happy with the normal sail. You know, what else is it going to give me? Until we try it, you know, us normal people, because this guy's a superstar, but I know this guy, he's on it. So I'm looking forward to trying it. Mr. Marc Pare, I know you've got to catch a ferry, so we'll be seeing you in Pozo. Pozo's probably already happened, he's probably already won. Yeah, I don't know, watch this space. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you do like that sort of thing, we've got this one up here. If you've missed that, did you miss that? Did you miss that video? Subscribe to the channel, then you won't miss any of them. And if you do like what we're doing, you can also chip in some beers.